welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I am John Stenning, and in just a bit, I will be joined by my fellow IJAH compatriots. New England Patriots, compatriots. I will be joined by my fellow IJAH Brain Trust members, if you will, Adam Carroll and Brian St. Pierre, to do a little roundup, talk about the things that have been on our minds lately in terms of bike stuff. Before I get to that, I would like to talk about the It's Just a Hill Winter Bike League, ongoing 6-stage winter training ride series, whatever the hell you want to call it. There's 6 of them. We've done the first one as of this recording. Number 2 is right around the corner, depending on when this comes out, or it just happened. I don't know. Timing for these is, we don't need to get into it. Hopefully it comes out beforehand, but I'm not trying to pressure Brian St. Pierre into doing the edit. He's listening to this now. I hope he's not. That's not what this is about. But that being said, stage 1 has happened as of this time that I'm sitting. Stage 2 is right around the corner. There are 6 of them, and each ride allows riders the opportunity to rack up points in the It's Just a Hill Winter Bike League. The first way to rack up points is just by showing up. You get 5 points for every stage that you show up for, and if you show up to all 6, you get an additional 5 points. That's 35 points right on the table just for showing up. There are also attack segments. A part of each stage, there are 3 designated Strava segments that are noted in the event on the IJAH Strava club page. And what happens is if you get first place on that segment, that's going to get you 3 points. If you get second place on the day on that segment, that gets you 2 points. And third place gets you 1 point. There's 3 segments on each ride. So, 18 different segments throughout the course of the season, and a lot of different ways to get points there. And there are also other ways to get points, and that is the wildcard category. That's for what I say is the best ride snack. Sure, you can bring a gel or Cliff Bar, and those are great. They work, don't get me wrong. I use them both. I'm not trying to shame people for using those, but I want to see half a Crunch Wrap in your bar bag. I want to see a McDonald's egg McMuffin or something. You know what I mean? I want to see you pull that out of your frame bag, middle of the ride, and be like, hey, John, look at this. Wow, I'm going to be absolutely wowed by that. Stage 1, Don brought some Guatemalan sweetbread. He immediately buttered me up with it. I took some on the ride. It was great. Don got 5 points for that. Hell yeah, Don, nice job. Next category to get you another 5 points is the road captain category. That's basically the most helpful person on the ride. That's someone that we really appreciate on our It's Just a Hill rides, is the most helpful person out there. And so whether you're quick to fix a flat, maybe you're making sure people don't get dropped, you're keeping an eye out, that's just the type of rider that we like. And so we're going to award you with 5 points. That's 1 person per stage for the wild card category, best snack, and the road captain category. All of these details can be found on the Strava page for It's Just a Hill. All of those links can always be found right at itsjustahill.com if you're not a member of the Strava page or our WhatsApp chat or anything like that. And yeah, keep an eye out for Winter Bike League. Hope to see you out there. I personally have been getting a little bit more fond of Zwift lately, believe it or not, but I still do love to ride outside any chance I get. And getting to do that with other people in the winter is a lot of fun. It's sort of few and far between, and so that's a big reason why I like to do Winter Bike League and why I hope everyone else likes to do it. There's also always a coffee stop at the end. We're going to be going to We Roast Coffee in Lincoln for stage 2. And there'll be a few other ones in the mix. And now to my chat with Adam and BSP. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Adam Carroll and BSP. Hello, guys. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Hey, how's it going, John?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
All right.
Any big bike news in anyone's life lately? Anyone get new crankset, new bike or anything? Adam has a fat bike now, I think.
Yeah, I got it the day it showed up when we were bike packing.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I ordered. I got a new cross country mountain bike, down country mountain bike. I got a Yeti SB 120, and yeah, I've been riding that. Oh, haven't ridden in a few weeks, but that's been great.
Nice. Brian, what about yourself? Any big bike moves? You're riding inside now.
Riding inside, that's about it. No moves at all.
You using a platform to ride inside? Like a Zwift?
Not yet, but I will probably do it potentially tomorrow. Tomorrow. I rode today, just a little spin.
Yep.
Tomorrow I want to do a little bit more.
What are you doing? Just keeping track of it on your head unit? Do you keep track of it at all? Do you care?
Yeah. I run the Apple workout on my watch, and then also track it on my Wahoo computer, which then syncs over to Strava.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
I've been on the Zwift train for about 2 weeks.
2.5 hours today.
You've been putting in some big time on it.
Been trying to, because that's what I feel like it's the best for. I haven't really ever gotten into the races. Before I was on Zwift, I was really just like using the trainer as like recovery. But now that I'm on Zwift and I can do like Z2, Z3, like basically Z2 efforts with like Z3 stuff like sprinkled in, essentially, with like a solid warm up and a solid cool down. I don't know, man. I know it sucks, but I do feel stronger after having used it for 2.5 weeks now. And my hours on the bike are definitely up because the weather here has been so wet, and just like I trashed my bike. I trashed my gravel bike riding it outside in the rain in December. I had to replace some bearings, and I'm like, this is not cost efficient. It's just not. It doesn't make sense. So at least 1 month of $15 for Zwift.
No, I mean, kudos to you for doing the time, because like I can't do that long. Usually like an hour to an hour and a half is my like mental longest, but for me, I don't know what you're doing if you're free riding. I find that workouts, even if it's something that you build and then you follow your own plan, that's the best for me, because I like not thinking, just be like, oh, it changed. You run it in the RG mode, it changes.
I'm only doing workouts. I'm making some and I'm choosing others, but I'm not doing any free riding. I'm really only doing even just like the cafe ride workout or like the 35-minute mend on like my recovery days or whatever. It does. The structure to it does help split the time in a much more, I don't know, approachable way, I guess. Like it's just slightly less mind numbing than normal. I don't know.
I completely agree.
Yeah. But I mean, it works. So Brian, see you on there. I've never personally hosted Zwift ride for It's Just a Hill. I know other It's Just a Hill members have, but I would like to do that, in the next month or so. And then hopefully not use it in the spring and summer and fall. But yeah, I mean, it serves a purpose.
It's cool that you can do, from what I understand, some of the other platforms, you get good discounts if you pay for a year at a time. But at least with Zwift, it's pretty consistent. You can just cancel it and pick it back up. So it makes it cost effective if you're only doing, a few months a year.
Yeah, true. All right, cool. So let's talk about a couple of current events before we get to our roundtable discussion. I sent this link to you guys. ASOS. I don't know. How do you pronounce it? Probably ASOS, right?
Probably the latter after what you're about to say.
ASOS. I like to call them the brand of the people. They just announced a $7,000 skin suit. $7,000.
7,000.
And it's like really
as much as my bike. More.
It's like custom fit. It has like shoe, but that's a lot of money. That's definitely more than at least one of my bikes, and probably both of my bikes now that they're used and I ride them a lot. Definitely a lot of money for a skin suit. Now, do either of you own any ASOS gear?
No.
So I swear by their bib shorts. I absolutely swear by them. I have a couple different lines. I've got the Equip, which is kind of like a premium line, but I also have some Melee GT, which is like a very reasonably priced, I think 110 or 120. You can get them on sale a lot for like $80. And those are solid bibs. Like they work really well. I definitely am a bib snob. I think certain things you should spend money on and certain things you don't have to, like a jersey, maybe don't spend so much, but bibs, I don't know, point of contact on the
points.
bike.
Yep.
Yeah. It's important.
Absolutely.
Maybe not $200 important. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money that I'm not just trying to throw around a lot of money, but the Melee GT ones, I have the thermal ones. I've been wearing them all winter. Those are absolutely great. But $7,000 for a skin suit, like this is for the 1%. This is a 1%er bullshit.
It's less than that. I even feel like.
Yeah, it is. It's elite of the elite. It's not like everyday cyclist. It's like, it seems wild to even like market it. You know what I mean? It seemed like just put it on your website for those freaking track people. Who's it for?
Yeah, let's say who's it for? Like, what are teams using it? What teams wear ASOS?
I don't know what World Tour teams wear ASOS. I don't think it's as popular as it once was in the Pro Tour. I also, like 10, 15 years ago, ASOS was like super like high premium. You know what I mean? And I also think there are a lot of other companies that have just like come in and offered the same thing at, sometimes higher prices even still. The prices are just wild in the bike industry. It's absolutely, it's atrocious, truly atrocious. But I think
great time to buy a bicycle. right now if you're looking to buy an actual bicycle. Yeah.
True. And I think that will continue to be the case for the next year because there's just back stock and there's still new models coming out. So you're going to be able to get deals on bikes, I think, for quite some time. And hopefully that means bike prices will come down. I think prices on some stuff have come down. Like this year's Di2 Ultegra is cheaper than last year's by like $150, I think. So like that's at least a step in the right direction and not just inflation year after year after year.
Wow.
And then one other thing. Oh, sorry. Do you have anything else to say about the $7,000 skid suit? You're going to buy one?
No, but from the mountain bike perspective, like for reference, you can get like a Fox factory fork right now, which is normally maybe $1,200 for $450 new.
Wow,
it's outrageous. Yeah,
new, just like new with a warranty and all that.
Like
sort of stuff.
I was shopping Jensen's website and just like literally go on there, $450 brand new Fox factory, maybe a 22 or 23 model year. I mean, that's a $1,200 fork all day long.
Yeah, but because stuff didn't sell, right? Everyone bought everything they wanted during the COVID bike boom, and then
no one bought anything.
Retailers kept buying stuff because inventory was down, but then people didn't keep buying stuff. So
great time to buy.
Yeah, not a so great time for bike shops, I don't think, or even for retailers like Jensen. I'm sure I don't know. I don't know the numbers obviously, but it can't be good. But maybe it is. Maybe it is good for us, the consumers. I guess I care more about us than I do about like some big brand company. No offense, Jensen. Sorry. Also, Strade Bianchi, the route came out today. It's the longest ever route. There's more gravel. Is this? I know, BSP, you and I, we talk about stuff like this on Amateurs Talking Pros a bit. Adam, I think you follow some pro cycling. Did you watch Strade Bianchi last year? Have you watched it before?
Yeah, I did. I did last year. Yeah, I hadn't watched it prior to that, though.
Pidcock won it last year. This year is going to have 15 gravel sectors. It's 215 kilometers long, which is like 140 miles or so. Less than that, a little less than that, but you get the picture. And then it's the women's race is 137 kilometers and 11 gravel roads. Gravel's the way of the future. You guys been watching Lifetime Grand Prix?
Oh yeah. No, I'm finishing it probably after this tonight. I'm like halfway through the last episode.
Yeah. What were you going to ask?
So what are the gravel sectors like as far as like gravel quality? Because it's such a broad spectrum, right?
So Strade Bianchi, famously, as if you couldn't tell by the Italian word for white, Bianchi.
Yeah.
These are white dirt roads, so they're not super chunky. They're
so
like
it's
white
just more
shale.
than of last year's similar quality. They're not adding anything more than that.
No, there's a bunch of these type of roads in this part of Italy, and I think they just hit more of them essentially. But that'll be fun. That's on March 2nd. So, I'm sure we'll be talking about it. That's all I got for current events. You guys want to get into a little bit more of a this is the real stuff that we really planned
meat and
for.
Potatoes?
Yeah, the real meat and potatoes, exactly. So we talked about like riding our bikes this time of year. Now, Adam, I was just on Strava. I saw that you ran earlier today. Is that true?
Yeah, guilty
as charged. He ran. He did a little bit of a trail run. We're going to talk about cross training just a bit. So, Adam, why don't you tell us about running? Do you run more this time of year, or is it just a thing that you're getting into? Because it seems to be there's a little bit of a bug going around the It's Just a Hill group chat, and
I'm going to come out and say that I don't love it. I'll give a shout out to my friend.
You don't
Dave
love running?
Okay. No, I don't. I don't at all. I just went with my buddies, Dave and Adam, who I told I was going to be on a podcast, and they said they were going to listen because they don't cycle. So hi to them. But I just for me, it's a social thing. They like running, so it's a way to keep up and stay in touch. But it's fine. I'm good for 1 to 2 a week tops. It hurts. I ran cross country in high school and middle school, and I think my ship has sailed on running there. So.
Wow.
Brian, what are your thoughts?
Country.
Do you ever run? That to me is what sounds fun. Cross country running is what sounds fun to me. Trail running sounds fun. But then I get worried about slipping and rolling my ankle and not being able to ride my bike, and I end up.
I was surprised that it was literally snow covered out at Pontegantsit. It was just all snow.
Yeah. Brian, what are your thoughts on running? You ever get into it?
I did have a small phase when I was running regularly. very shortly, like after I lost a good amount of weight, I was running a little bit, maybe doing like 3 to 5 miles at a time.
Yep.
And aside from playing soccer when I was younger, that's definitely the most I ever ran in my life. I was never a runner. It wasn't part of my lifestyle. My body wasn't capable of doing that. Yep. So once I started getting a little more fit, lost weight and stuff, I was running and I was enjoying it at the time, but then I got more into cycling and that definitely took over.
Yeah, I like how cycling's like pew, pew, pew. You know what I mean? It's like pew. You're like flying.
For me, I think with cycling too, I like to tinker in. I mean, this is probably pretty ignorant of me to say because I'm sure some runners would say, "Oh, there's a ton of gear and there's a ton of things." But like, I like like mechanical stuff. Like, I don't mind working on my car or my truck. Like, I like to tinker with things. So that's why I like cycling a lot too, because I get to mess with that. Where I feel like running, I could get good shoes, get good whatever, and then that's kind of feels like the end of the road for messing around with stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, it can be fun. I have experienced like, the quote unquote runner's high a couple times before, you know what I mean? But like, I think it's a very common thing this time of year, especially. It's easier to sort of go up against the elements when you're not doing 20 miles an hour, right? You're going a little bit slower. Maybe you're hiding in the woods. As far as other types of cross training, right? Running might not be my number one by any means. I do a lot of yoga. I do yoga like every single day. Is there any other stuff that you do, Brian? Like you're saying you don't run a lot. Do you do strength training this time of year? You do have a gym membership, I think, right?
I do.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. I think it's great. I really like the gym and doing strength training. I just have had a poor relationship with it in the past few months, and I have done very little. Just some weight stuff at home with what limited weights that I do have, and body weight stuff. But in recent years, for the quote unquote off season in the winter, typically I will do more strength training. In the past 3 years, I've been doing weight training and strength training, with keeping it balanced with cycling. And then in the winter, kind of switch it a little bit, balance it more, spend a little more time in the gym. And I was definitely really enjoying that past couple of years. But this season, I've just sort of, I do yoga as well, like you said. I really like that. I walk my dog a lot. Little bit of strength training, and then I've been doing a lot of trainer rides, keeping it light.
Is your strength training like mostly leg focused, or are you doing like upper body stuff too, or mix? Like, what type of strength training are you doing?
Yeah, I was doing like over the winter. I would do like 3 to 4 days a week to balance that with the cycling, and I was doing full body. And over the course of me doing strength training, I was messing around with different splits, and I would do maybe like 2 leg days, 2 upper body days, some weeks, maybe 3 upper body days, 1 lower. And then it just started to feel like I wasn't hitting the legs often enough. So then I started to do full body every time I went, almost every time I went, or like 2 out of 3, I would do full body. Then maybe the other day I would do specific upper body things. So that's kind of the way I would balance it. But I definitely noticed a difference in my cycling as far as strength, as well as sort of injury prevention, where like when you're going on long rides, you can you don't necessarily get injured all the time, but you can like feel what's happening, where you need to focus your stretching or yoga or rolling. And I definitely had a lot less of those sort of things rearing their heads when I was really in it with strength training, and especially doing enough sort of core and lower body. That really made a difference for me.
Yeah, one thing about running that we didn't mention is, like, I guess people sort of talk about cyclists as having low bone density because it's not like, and I think running helps make up for that a lot. It helps the sort of not that like we're professional cyclists, so we still spend a lot of time on our feet. You know what I mean? Like we spend plenty of time on our feet to like rack up that bone density as compared to like a pro that's just like riding 30 hours a week and then just like has their legs up every other hour of the day, getting massages and stuff, you know? But I do think that that's another benefit to running or to strength training is like, building up muscles or parts of your body that you don't normally focus on to help stabilize the parts of your body that you use so much when you're cycling. So yeah, that's a great point. Adam, what about you? Any strength training stuff?
Actually, yes. And if you'll give me 5 seconds, I'll plug a book right here.
Yes, to leave right now. Oh, a book that you got. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually just picked up this book,
The Cyclist Training Bible. Wow, interesting. Look at this cat-like helmet that this guy is wearing.
Look at how aged that is. Look at that jersey. It's not Arrow. But anyways,
no, that's legitimately a cat-like helmet. I love those. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I picked this up and it kind of goes with the strength training. Like I'm no expert. This is my first foray, I guess you say, into like specifically looking at training for cyclists. Mostly in prior years, I'll just ride hard when I feel like I've taken a break and then ride easy when I feel like I've ridden hard with no rhyme or reason. There's definitely an emphasis in this book. I've worked my way through most of it on especially early season in the build periods, doing strength training. Like I'd be in what they would call a prep period right now where I'm going through more motions. Then when I get into builds, they stress going harder and heavier weights. Then you go less days to the middle of the season. Then you get to a point where you're just going 1 day a week to maintain strength. And they give alternatives as doing low cadence drills to build muscular strength too if you don't have gym access. So there's a lot of interesting things. I mean, it's a pretty nerdy read, but there's a lot of cool information that I definitely have kind of changed how I look at training starting this year with it.
And are you just reading it front to back, or are you like following a specific plan that's laying out? Yeah, you're just reading.
Yeah, the first like 5-6 chapters are just you read up to there, and then 7, 8, 9 you can kind of read based on what type of plan you want to make.
To do.
Yeah.
And do you have a specific? Is there a specific date that you're going for to get your strength to like peak? Like, is there an event that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I put Overland as mine. Which is going to be hard because we're doing D2R2 the weekend before, and also I'll be gone in Europe for most of July, so I probably won't be riding. So that's a big hindrance where I realize that it'll probably throw this plan out of whack, but I'm trying to maybe set the foundation for hopefully a good Overland, but then next year getting into habits, trying to look at TSS, which is something I never looked at, but they stress how, you can go by hours and other metrics, but TSS is a big emphasis in this book and a good way to track a more accurate workout in the sense that hours are hours, but it doesn't measure intensity, where TSS is power, normalized power with time and zones. So it's a more accurate depiction of your workout.
Is TSS just a cycling number, or can you get a strain score? That's a total strain score, right? That's what those letters stand for.
Yeah.
Can you get a strain score when you're just
strain.
When you're working out? Like
you could, like if you look at training peaks, like I went running today and I got like a running TSS, or if I do strength training, I get a heart rate TSS, but they don't compare. Like my heart rate TSS numbers are normally higher than my power based ones. There's fluctuations there. So I think going by power is the best, it seems, but heart rate could be a close second. Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, cool. I basically I do the same, like in terms of year, the time of year that I'm focused on like strength training, but I'm doing mostly body weight stuff, like squats, push-ups, pull-ups on like the bar that I have hanging. I definitely do way more of that this time of year, but like I feel like whenever I focus on that, I'm trying to balance out my legs as well, because like I do not care. Like I want to have like a fit upper body, but like as someone that like likes to like climb like hills a lot, I'm not trying to carry any like extra muscle weight. That sounds so stupid to say out loud, but I don't
just like toned a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I don't want to be like doughy. You know what I mean? Like that's like maybe one of my biggest fears in life, to be perfectly honest. But we're not going to go down that road.
This isn't a therapy podcast.
This is just if you want to go listen to. I'm just going to plug the episode that I did with Todd a couple episodes ago where we talked about body weight stuff. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely want to have like like strong upper body, you know, it helps you when you're standing up on the bike, or helps you when you're riding gravel, you know, and you want to be strong. But I sometimes am like, I catch myself just like doing curls or doing like, you know, one of these with kettlebells, like some sets. And I'm like, I don't know about this, dog. This is, you know, but that's so silly because I obviously don't do it enough, you know. I definitely don't do it enough.
I think you're fighting, like, you'll never be bulky with the amount that you ride.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
You could do a lot of upper body, and you might actually really enjoy the way you feel.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
The way you look, because you're not going to build a ton of muscle. Like the amount of cardio you're doing each week is really going to keep a ceiling on that for sure.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I probably would like look at myself even longer in the mirror, you know. Okay. And any other type of cross training you guys do? I personally probably should do more cross training, but like to me, nothing is more fun than riding my bike. You know what I mean? And so like that's real. I do it because I think it's a lot of fun. I try to walk like Brian. Well, I mean, Adam, you have dogs too. We all walk our dogs. Like I like to go on like more hikes this time of year, like walks in the woods and stuff. But yeah, I probably could be better. I've been trying to do more push-ups lately. I did 50 push-ups today. I've been trying to do 50 a day. Yeah, so that's like a dumb little thing I've been trying to do.
Nice.
For me, if I get the snow, cross-country skiing is what I would do, but it's few and far between.
Man, I want to do that.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
I want to do that so bad. I've been talking to Sam about it a bit, former guest of the podcast. It's Just a Hill member. Yeah. Sam's been doing a bunch of those up in New Hampshire now. And I think there might be an opportunity for us to link up with Sam and go up there. I'm sure he would help all of us out. And I would love to do it.
He's doing a lot of backcountry stuff that looks cool. I mean, I got to go cross-country skiing from my house when we got that snow a couple of weeks ago. Weeks ago.
What, on the road or in your backyard? With the
I went down my road and then the trail at the end of my road. And then Pulaski Park up in Gloucester is usually pretty good.
I've read that Pulaski Park. They used to have groomers there, but apparently they don't.
They'll do it. Yeah, they will do it like a few years ago when we had a lot, but usually you don't get it groomed. But there's a lot of people and they will track it. Like the people will kind of make their own tracks.
And then you just sort of follow that, right?
Yeah, lucky if you can go twice a year in Rhode Island.
Yeah. Which I guess I'm not really complaining about. I'm not the biggest fan of the snow. Yeah.
So I would actually really like to know from other people, like listeners, what they do for cross training too, because I really would like to just hear more ideas in general.
Good point.
Because I just want to start trying more stuff. Like,
so
I don't know if I want to try CrossFit, but like cross country skiing sounds really cool. Maybe mountain climbing, indoor mountain climbing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hear what people have to say, what they do.
I don't do it, but like I know friends of mine who do, and I mean, swimming has got to be probably maybe one of the best workouts you can possibly do, but it's inconvenient. I mean, especially for me, like there's probably not a pool like a YMCA within a half an hour of where I live, and I'm not going to stop on the way home. I got the dogs and stuff, but I mean, swimming would be a great one. Like if it was easy, I would probably do it more if it was easy to get to.
I'm also specifically interested in things that aren't super cardio based. Like that are more like physical and active, which that's great because that's what all exercise is, physical.
Yeah, but what, trampoline park?
Like, I don't know. Like I just want to hear what people do. I want to hear some creative stuff. Like
I bet there's some.
I don't know, maybe I should just get a really physical job where I'm moving boxes around somewhere. I don't know.
I love this. Someone just gets a part-time job.
40.
Yeah. I love this. This is a great call to action, Brian. Thanks. People in the comments, let us know what you do for cross-training. I think that's a great idea because, I mean, for me, like the way I think about it, I'm like, well, people like ride their mountain bikes more this time of year. That's like cross-training, you know? Riding my gravel bike with a circular chainring is cross-training compared to my road bike that has an oval chainring. That's cross-training, right? Not to be confused with cross-chaining. Not cross-chaining. Not cross-chaining. That I do plenty of that too, all year round.
Can't do that on your one by mountain bike, or you're either doing it all the time, depending on how you look at it.
Right. All right, no, that was great. I want to talk about chamois cream a bit. This is, I think a lot of us use chamois cream. I've got some tubs of it right here by my side. I'm curious if you guys have. Brian's out of here. He's upset about the talk about.
Hang on.
He's getting his shopping cart.
I forgot to grab one.
Yeah. So I think we all have some chamois cream here in front of us. I'm curious, before we get into like the brands that we use, Brian, you just got up to grab something. I'm assuming it's chamois cream. Do you use it, and do you use it every ride?
Chamois cream. I'm for it.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I'm a big fan. I went a very long time without using it, and then I decided to try it because there was a good like daily deal or whatever the hell they call it on Bike Tires Direct. So I bought Enzo's European style in a tub.
Yep.
It was like, it's very minty. I liked that a lot.
Love that. Little menthol.
And then what I just grabbed was one called Squirrel's Nut Butter.
Oh my!
And it is one that I do not use.
Okay. I do not
like the texture of it.
Okay. What's up with the texture of it?
It's like too thick.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know if it's like, let's see what the base is. It's more of like a balm, and then you have to, it's a coconut oil and coconut butter. So you have to like melt it. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
yeah, I don't like the sound of that whatsoever.
Not at all.
So you don't use that, but you do use it often. Do you use it on every ride, even if you're going out for just an hour?
If I remember to use it, I will. Gotcha. So most of the time that I don't use it is because I simply forgot. And currently right now, not to spoil Adam's situation, but I use D's nuts.
All right, let's get into it. So Adam,
I used
beautiful.
I used was it oh my god, what's the brand? Is it chamois butter?
Yeah, chamois butter. Yeah,
chamois butter. Yeah, I went through a tube of that recently. I just started D's nuts now.
Yeah. So Adam, you also use D's nuts. Do you use it on every ride?
Well, so yeah, this is my nice and well worn.
Oh, I got the Pro
model.
Okay, so there are different kinds of D's nuts, right?
Yeah, so they make a few different ones similar to what chamois butter has. Like they have a women's specific one too.
Yep.
So I use that. I really have no gripes. Actually, I just got this recently.
Oh,
nice.
And I'm going back to this. So I like this more. I actually reached out to them and just got an ambassador thing with them. So, but I did that because I actually wanted that, not because they sought me out. So I guess what I like about it is honestly quality-wise, they're both pretty similar. This is just more readily available, and I kind of like that they do these for travel size. I can't really find any companies that do that, and they're super convenient for bike packing. I was thinking about it. If I do end up bringing a bike to Europe with me, like I can bring some of these in a carry-on because they're under the 3 ounces versus I can't bring this. So yeah, there's a lot to like, and I like that they have the Euro style, the coconut based one. They've just got a lot. Flavors isn't the right word for chamois cream, but they've got a lot of different ones.
Yeah, I love chamois butter too. I have the Euro style quote European cooling anti-chafe cream. It's got a bit of a menthol to it. I will say this is by far my go-to brand. I'm a bit of a brand loyalist. I have those little packets too. I've got extras for whenever we go bike packing this year. I say that extremely hopefully to both of you to just plant a little seed in both of your heads, because I think
first weekend of June or whatever.
Perfect.
I'm up. Do you use it every ride? I guess same question. I didn't answer your question, but to ask it to you, do you use it every ride on the trainer outdoors?
Yes, I use it every single ride, especially on the trainer. If I'm going outside and I'm only going to ride light for like an hour, like I know I'm just doing a recovery ride, I might not wear it. But like it's very much part of my routine. I like have it in a drawer next to the other drawer, so like I'm pretty good about it. I've been using this one for a while. I previously used the ASOS one, which I also think is very good. I also have, this is a squirt barrier balm. This reminds me of what Brian was talking about with the squirrel one. It's very thick. Let's just say it's like waxy, and like I don't love that it's waxy. It also leaves like a residue on my chamois on the inside of my bib shorts that like this is going to start to sound gross, but it doesn't like wash out the same way that like this one does. It like leaves
This
it like leaves like a waxy film on like a cardboard box waxy film, you know?
Yeah.
The chamois
These
butter
don't
just
leave
seems
either.
so clean.
Yeah.
Like it just seems very clean, and I really like that. Squirt did like send this to me for free. So like that was very nice of them, and I used it quite a bit until I started to realize that like the more and more I used it, it just
wasn't working out for you.
Yeah, with lanolin and tea tree. I mean, it like worked well. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't getting lanolin, like sheep's wool. I like wasn't, I wasn't having any issues down there. I wasn't getting any saddle sores or anything. I just didn't like what it was doing to like the pad on the inside of my bibs, and I feel like that wasn't that wasn't great. Maybe I was using too much. I don't know. Could have been user error, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, along with what you said too, I used to really, when I'd go, like when we go on group rides on the weekends, I'd always wear it because I'm going to be out for several hours. I used to not wear it on the trainer, and I realized I almost need it on the trainer more for an hour than I do for 3 hours outside. Because there's just, I don't have, you kind of made your little contraption for giving a little freedom to your trainer. Mine's rigid. It's on the ground. There's no, that's the worst saddle sores I've gotten have been from time on the trainer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I use it every ride now, I guess then.
Yeah, I did buy 4 balance pods on Amazon for about $16. This is what Adam is alluding to. And I put the 4 balance pods underneath the 4 feet of my trainer, and it works out quite well. I have not had to add air to them. I've been doing harder rides on them. I did a couple of higher watt intervals on my ride today, and it didn't feel too crazy rocking side to side, but it does give you a little bit of side to side movement, kind of like a really cheap rocker plate sort of deal. So yeah, that's a little.
I think that's a great idea.
Little balance pod hack I saw on Reddit, and I think I bought them. I think they were $16 or $24 for all 4 of them. And it's like perfect for it. Also, a quick shout out to Neosporin. I think if you do, maybe you're getting a little bit of a saddle sore, and just put a little Neosporin on there, and it really does wonders. We're getting really intimate right now. We were talking about the female chamois butter, which I think is great that they offer that with like a balanced pH and stuff like that. So, a little bit of Neosporin bacitracin ointment, a little bit goes a long way. If you see something flaring up down there, don't let it get like the size of a golf ball, and then then you're off the bike for months at a time. I've heard some horror stories. Yeah. Sorry, Brian. Oh, Brian's doing the thing. All right.
True. It's true, though.
And now we're going to have the most serious chat of the day. I think this is something that is talked about a lot. And this is something that I think is covered sort of ad nauseum in memes and in bad forums, but we've never really talked about it here. And this is the SRAM versus Shimano debate. Like I said, a lot of the time you just see like people arguing with each other as if both of them are like one is really good and the other is bad. Neither of them are bad.
Yeah.
Right. Neither of them are bad. They're both like industry leading group sets. We're not going to talk about Campagnolo.
None of us can afford it. I can't even sneeze in the same zip code. I'm not that rich.
Yeah. So. I've never been able to afford it. I've never owned it. I've never tried
as much as my bike.
Right. So yeah, I will say I do enjoy myself some fuck SRAM memes. I think Adam and I have probably said fuck SRAM to each other quite a bit. But yeah, I also do think it's worth talking about. So, Adam, you and I would consider myself a Shimano fanboy. Not that I hate SRAM. I have look at this water bottle right here, Dura Ace and Ultegra, Science of Speed, if you will. I really love
their race hats. Yeah.
Yes. I love the way that Shimano shifts. It puts it at a top tier for me. Brian, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Have you run both? What are your thoughts on the debate? Is it even worth having a debate about?
Well, whether it's worth having a debate about, probably. Why not? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And everybody has their own experiences with them. And I think that's what it's like for me. I have had experience with both of them, but my road setup is 11-speed mechanical Shimano, and my gravel bike is one by in the front, 12-speed SRAM.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of the what'd you say?
Wireless, electronic.
The wireless electronic. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly a fair comparison because one's mechanical, one's electronic, one is one by, the other two by. And I know a lot of complaints about SRAM has been the front derailleur and dropping the chain. But whenever I get on my gravel bike, I freaking love it. Like I just feel like I'm on a new age machine, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I get on my bike, my other bike, my road bike, and I'm just like, wham, slamming the cables over. Oh, my fingers are getting tired, you know?
Yeah.
But so I really like my SRAM setup. The only issue that I've had with it is chain, actually still, even though I'm one by, chain still popping off sometimes when I hit like a really bumpy section.
Yeah.
Which
classic.
I could get a little guide thing that some of us have that holds it on. I could do that, but I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I
like it.
You have a wolf tooth chain guide on your one by Shimano setup, though.
Yep.
And you do or am I correct in saying that you don't own any bikes with SRAM?
Yeah.
Yep. But you were recently looking at one of their mountain bike group sets, which essentially that's what I have. I have a gravel bike with a mountain bike derailleur in the back, and it is one by, so it's just the one derailleur. But man, that's a nice derailleur.
So I guess like right off the bat, like I'm definitely biased to Shimano, but I try to be objective when I'm looking at things, and I think kind of Brian hit the nail on the head. I feel like the more you go towards off-road with mountain bike being the end game there, the more that SRAM makes sense to me. And it's not even a front derailleur thing. It's if you're going electronic, actually, if you aren't going electronic, either one, I don't like their one by shifters mechanical, because I don't like the single click and then double click on the same lever to go up and down. I want different. But when you only have to deal with one battery in a one by system, like that's fine. That's what I'm doing with Di2 and my road bike. When you have to deal with two different batteries, and then that's when it starts to get a little bit, I don't know if I want to deal with that on a road bike. I think they're very innovative, more than Shimano. I think Shimano plays it safe, and that's why I love it. They just work. They're pretty much compatible with everything. I think the one thing SRAM can do is obsolete their own technology with new innovations. But that new transmission group set that came out with is pretty good. I thought about buying it. I came really darn close actually to buying it for my Yeti. But it was one of those things where, I mean, shift's great. I rode Matt at NBX's bike. He let me try his Trek outside, and it felt amazing. But you need the new crank set to work with it. You can't just use the new derailleur. You know, you need the new chain to work with it. So you need to overhaul your entire bike to do it. But the shift's amazing.
Yeah, the one paddle system too is so nice. One paddle on either side. Left brings it this way in the cassette, right brings it the other way in the cassette, and then both flips. If you're running two by, both just changes it from the big ring to the little ring. That is so nice. Especially, I ride my gravel bike a lot more this time of year, even if it's just on the road, because the roads are salty and shitty, and my gravel bike is, just can take a bit more of a beating than my road bike. I don't want to mess it up on the roads this time of year. And I'm wearing thicker gloves. It's so much easier to shift. Those two Shimano buttons, I really don't think that they're tricky. I think so. Like,
it's not quite as easy.
It's not quite as easy. Yes. Yeah. When you're not wearing, most of the time I don't wear gloves in the summer, or even I'm just wearing fingerless gloves. You could still feel the difference in the two the two different paddles. Okay. But like that is like a nice thing that they have, like, and like that the derailleurs are so easy to swap because they are truly wireless, right? They're both electronic, but Shimano Di2 is not wireless. There's an internal battery, so you can't call it wireless. The Shimano derailleurs, you could like take a front derailleur off of one bike and put it on the other in like 20 minutes, half hour. I've done it before. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? Like, because everything is wireless. If you do run into a battery problem and you're out on the road, if your buddy has a SRAM derailleur, you can just pop the battery off, put it on yours real quick, shift into the gear that you want, and then give them the battery back. I have seen people plug their Di2 into another person's Di2, but then your rear derailleurs are like really close to each other, and you're like unplugging one thing. It's not as it's different because certain things I think are more user friendly than others in terms of Shimano versus SRAM. That's not really a fair argument. They're both great group sets. I personally like the way Di2 shifts a little bit more than my SRAM 12-speed ETAP. But
if you're good with charging your Di2, it's like a Garmin thing. The battery life is insane.
Forever.
Like if you just, I literally have a thing in my calendar that's just like every 2 months, just charge it. I never need to every 2 months, but it's just like
it's like 2,000 miles.
Sure. Yeah,
it's a long time. It's a long time.
I could probably make it through half a year of road riding with the amount that I ride without charging it. It's crazy.
It's quite a long time. The battery is significantly bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, almost to the point that you could forget.
Yeah. Forgetting sucks. Forgetting sucks no matter what, even if you're on Campy. Yeah.
The cool thing about like with the SRAM stuff too, at least when you get into like the mountain bike end of it, is I prefer Shimano brakes over SRAM brakes, just because if I'm doing my own work, I'd rather work with mineral oil than with DOT fluid. That's always been a thing for me, just safer for my paint and stuff. But at least with like SRAM mountain bike stuff, I could run an Eagle or a GX Axis derailleur, not the new transmission, but the old electronic one, and still use my Shimano brakes, because it's unlike a road bike, they're not married where the brake lever is part of the shifter. So in a situation like that, I would probably entertain the thought of buying a setup like that for a mountain bike. But when it comes to road and gravel, where I have to have a homogeneous group set with the brakes, personally, I'll probably stick with Shimano. But
I mean, I think it's good that there are two companies that are sort of pushing, or three. I get they're all pushing each other. Campy sort of, I think, grows in a very different way, and they're all sort of moving too fast, and they're making their old group sets obsolete, and it is sort of, it's just that like consumerism bullshit that
I'm still waiting for a 12-speed electronic mountain bike group set from Shimano. They're slow on that. I mean, technically they have one, but it's pretty much kind of e-bike only. They don't have any mainstream electronic mountain bike.
Yeah, which is interesting that they haven't done that. Yeah. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we finally did it. We had the actual, we got at each other's throats about SRAM versus Shimano. I just think it's important that like the whole, I love the memes and stuff, and I love to see people fight on the internet about things that don't matter. But I think ultimately, like, it doesn't matter. And as long as you're having fun riding your bike, that's a great point. You really can't go wrong. And like, if your bike shop only does one, and that's the one that you have because they support it, then that's great. You know what I mean? Like, go with that, right? Like, so, all right. That's all I have for the roundtable. You guys have anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Oh boy, I don't know, man.
No, you can both say
it
no.
For another
that was loaded.
Save it for another one. Yeah. No, that was great. Yeah, thank you guys very much. Appreciate you taking your time out of take time out of your day is what I was trying to say, I guess. And thank you guys very much. I'll see you on the next podcast.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you guys. Nice to see you.
Bye. You too.
Bye-bye.
Well, that will just about do it for another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. Thanks again for listening, and thank you to Brian and Adam for showing up and being part of it. For showing up, it's a little weird. You know what I mean. I mean it. I'm being genuine. Double thanks to BSP for, as we joked about in the last episode, being my podcasting partner in crime, doing all the audio editing and mixing for this episode and for all the other episodes of this podcast. And like I mentioned earlier, don't forget, It's Just a Hill Winter Bike League, currently in progress. Head to our Strava for all event details. As of this recording, 1 stage is in the bag, 5 more to go. Plenty of opportunities to rack up points. You can join our WhatsApp chat for random bike discussion, group ride info, as well as random ride meetups. The link is below in the YouTube description below here. Check out the best bike shop. Wow. Check out the best bike shop around. It was a little southern. Check out the best bike shop around, NBX, located in Narragansett, Rhode Island, with unbeatable service and prices. NBX is my go-to shop and the go-to shop for It's Just a Hill for so many reasons. That being said, just support any of your local bike shops. I'm sure they could use it and it would be great. Everyone could use the help, local bike shops. But if you do happen to make that trip to MBX, which I think you should, make sure to ask someone about the studio at MBX located right above the shop, offering things like yoga, bike fits, and various stretching classes. Like we talked about previously in the episode, cross training is very important. And I like to do a lot of yoga, like I said, to stay fresh and flexible on and off the bike. So my long rides really, I think, benefit from that. And I suggest that you do the same. Head over to the studio at MBX or call the shop to learn more. Also, if you haven't done so yet and you are watching this show on YouTube, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the It's Just a Hill channel. It only takes a minute and it significantly helps our show to find other viewers like you. Same can be said for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening to the show. If you're just listening to it, the audio, just take a minute to rate and review the show. It really helps us grow. I didn't mean to rhyme. And now is the time to end the show. Wait, didn't want to rhyme again. And just you can find everything It's Just a Hill rated at www.itsjustahill.com. That's right. It is a www. It's Just a Hill, all one word, .com. Head over there, check out our other videos, buy some merch if you want. I'm posting photos over in the blog and doing write-ups on certain rides and stuff. So yeah, check out itsjustahill.com, all the other places, and see you out there.
We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.